Welcome back to the Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. It's International Widows Day, and we're talking about celebrating widows. The theme for this year, according to the United Nations, is Invisible Women and Invisible Problems. And we've invited Mr. Thompson here. He is the Executive Director of the NGO. It's Widows and Orphan Support Society of Nigeria. Good morning, Mr. Thomas.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. So this year, International Widows Day, could you shed more light on the day for us?
Okay. International Widows Day was actually introduced to address poverty and injustice faced by widows and their children, especially in African countries. And by its grace, the International Widows Day is being celebrated worldwide now. It was recognized by United Nations in the year 2010, and every June 23rd, widows and their children are being celebrated.
Okay, so Mr. Thomas, we know that according to the UN statistics, there are around 258 million widows worldwide, and that one widow basically is poor. Could you tell us more about some widowhood practices and, widow abuse that we see here in Nigeria?
Well, what's my observation, widows here in Nigeria, especially the vulnerable ones, are passing through a lot in Africa country, because by our observation, most widows, when they lose their husband, they hardly get help from the society. Only few NGO and the government is now coming up, and especially in this hard time when we have COVID-19 and all that, the widows, they pass through a lot. But I think awareness is coming to the public and to government and to NGOs now that widows are not to be neglected, because they are face a lot of humiliation challenges, and the responsibility of we NGO is to take care of them, especially Widows and Orphan Support Society of Africa. We have lineup of programs for widows and orphanage children. Likewise, the widow children. Thank you.
All right. I want us to also speak a little bit more on the types of support systems that should be created for widows in the society, the local government level, on the state level, maybe, and maybe on the federal level. Are there things that your organization suggests that should come into play to support widows in the society?
Well, what I suggest, if the local government can build up a budget for widows, because local government, they are the grassroots government. They can easily reach out to people. If they can build up budgets that cater for widows, that would be very fine. Some local governments are doing well, but if other government can join, especially in this hard time where things are difficult, if government can join the NGOs to make a budget, like we NGO, we have budget for widows. Every month we have program for widows. We have a welfare program for widows. We have scholarship scheme for their children. We have back to school scheme for widows' children. That back to school scheme is a program whereby we gather books, and textbook, exercise book, bags, school bag, school lunch bag. We get them ready and visit the widows and their children, so that their children can return back to school. So we have a back to school program for widows' children. So all these things, if local government can have a sort budget that can support this program, it will be very, very fantastic. It will be very fantastic.
All right. Finally, I also want to ask.
Well, but they need to do more.
Yeah. Well, I think I would agree that some of these things should be created. But I also want to ask, because we're Nigeria, And there's peculiar challenges that widows face culturally and traditionally in certain states across Nigeria. Is there, conversations on ways with which these things can be put to an end completely, or ways through which a widow can protect herself and her family from some of these traditional...
Can you come over? I'm not getting you clearly, please.
All right.
Can you come over?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm asking if there are ways that widows can get better protection against some of the traditional and cultural actions that seem abusive to widows in the Nigerian society. We hear about things that they have to go through after their husbands pass in the village. We hear about losing their property to their husbands' brothers. Sometimes they have to be married off to their husbands' siblings or things like that. Is there ways that widows can be better protected against certain Nigerian traditions and cultures?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. This is a very beautiful, it's a lovely question. I must say that I expect this from you. The only way government, we have some culture that we need to abolish, like, for instance, some widows, some women, when they lost their husband, the culture will say, you must marry the man. If you don't marry the man, you forfeit everything the man has. You don't have anything. They say you forfeit everything. You must marry the man. What about if there is no love between the brother that they are insisting that the woman must marry? If there is no love, what will happen? And there are cases where the brothers, we have convertious family. Families are very convertious. They will say, oh, the man is dead, so our brother is gone. We have to take over. We have to take over. You can't manage the resources. We are the one that will manage the resources. So the woman will be asked to step aside. And in process, they will inherit all the properties. They will inherit all the properties, and the woman will start from 01. So what I'm trying to say is this. If government can put up a policy that says, if a man died, the property actually belongs to the family, to the woman and the children. The children and the woman owns the property because they owns the man. So if we start having such kind of policy that says, once a man dies, whatever the man owns belongs to the wife and the children. So nobody will come from the blues and say, oh, I'm the brother, or I'm the sister, I want to take, I'm taking over this, I'm taking over the vehicle. Meanwhile, the man has a wife and has children. So I think if we can have this policy in place that can protect women and children, just like in civilized world, in civilized world, widows, the widows there, they hardly suffer because whatever happened, the government have provision for the widow and for the children. But here in Nigeria, we have so many different cultures. So all those culture, the government should abolish it. Right. They should abolish culture that say, oh, we will take the woman to the village, let's scrape her hair by force, and she must drink water. Especially if the man is young, they will say, oh, this is very unusual. Why will this man die in a motor accident? So let's take the woman to the village. She must drink the water they used to bathe the corpse of the man. That's terrible. Women are subjected to a lot of problems. That's terrible.
All right,
she must drink from the water they used to bathe the man. Just because the man died as a young man, no, anybody can die at any age.
Mr. Thomas, indeed, we do need stronger laws to make sure that widows and their children do not suffer like they currently do in Nigeria. Well, thank you very much, Executive Director, Widows and Orphans Support Society of Africa. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's where we end the show today on The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We've talked about a lot, the plight of widows, International Widows Day. Just to say, go out there, support a widow, support their children. And very important, however you can, because if we're waiting for those laws to be enacted, it will take a long time.
Yeah.
So, in as little as we can, as little as we can help, let's always try to extend that love to widows around us in our community.
And also don't be that wicked uncle or wicked husband's brother. It's easy to talk about laws, when they, affect other people, but when, it's time for you to play your role as a support system for a late brother's family, and kids, it's good advice, to men to ensure that they always step up, play the role that you can play. If you can't pay their school fees, then at least find ways that you can support and protect them from the ills of some of our cultures and traditions in Nigeria, regardless of what it looks like. So yes, be that person that should be able to step in and support.
Yes, and truly it's easier to say, for women to own their own, make their own bag and all of that, but we know what the situation of the country is. You know how some men would rather have their wives stay at home and not work. So these other societal considerations are there, just really to say, extend that hand of love and hopefully that we can get better laws that would guarantee the rights of women, not just widows, but also people who are divorced because they face similar challenges.
All right. Stay with us. I'm back here, of course, at 9 a.m. with the news brief. But for now, it's goodbye. And join us on our social media platforms at Plus TV Africa on Facebook and Instagram. I am Osao Gie Ogbonwa.
And I am Anetta Felix. Bye-bye.